Have you ever broken or cracked something in your house and been wishing you had the type of glue to fix it? Well, it's your lucky day, because today we're testing cheap versus expensive super glues. We laid out 3 lines of glue onto each little plank of wood. Then we clamped the little pieces of wood onto another larger piece of wood for about 30 seconds. On the packaging it did say only 10 seconds to dry, but we wanted to make sure. After the timer was up, we dropped some weights on the wood. And you can see only after 2 drops the Gorilla Glue couldn't hold up. The Crazy Glue just did not budge.
And Crazy Glue wins. Cheap versus expensive American football gloves.
So we did a series of tests to see which gloves are more grippy. You can see here that the cheap gloves definitely put up a good fight, but couldn't really hold on near the end, while the expensive gloves definitely held up all the way through with the fingertip grip test. Now we move on to a series of catching tests with 1 hand, 2 hands, and from different distances. First we did close range. Compared to the cheap gloves, you can see that with the expensive, he definitely seemed to have a lot more control with his catches. Now we're moving on to the far range passes. He wasn't able to get the 1 hand catch, but the 2 hand catches were on point. And now for the expensive gloves. He was somewhat able to pull off the 1 hand catch, but the 2 hand catches were definitely more secure. Now we did a sound test for you guys to hear the stickiness of the rubbers. And you can clearly hear which gloves have more stick.
And expensive wins.
Are you ever browsing through phone cases wondering which one is best for you? If so, then this video is for you, because today we're testing cheap versus expensive phone cases. First, we're testing their flexibility. You can see that after a few flexibility tests for the cheap case, it already cracked. You can see the crack here right under the camera. Now let's test the expensive phone case. And instantly you can tell the expensive phone case is just a lot more sturdy. It also comes with some features like the camera cover and a little kickstand. Now let's see how the cases look with the phones actually inside. The cheap one just looks like a basic clear case, while the expensive looks extremely thick and durable and a very safe case. And the extra feature of the camera cover makes it even more protective. Here's a quick look at how the kickstand works. Seems pretty well balanced. Finally, for the drop test, we're going to see which phone case can help protect the phone from a 4-foot drop. We did 2 drop tests for each phone case. You can tell the expensive phone case definitely has better shock absorbers, as it does bounce higher when it hits the floor. So overall, if you're looking for a phone case that'll protect your phone and have some extra utilities, go with the expensive.
And expensive wins.
We're testing cheap versus expensive house paints. As you can see, the expensive paint on the right shows much cleaner lines. Expensive wins. Very nice.
Cheap versus expensive pumps.
First, we're testing how much air each of these pumps can output. You can see it starts out pretty close, and then the expensive pump kind of just takes over. And we kind of just went until our arms gave out. Now we're looking at the features that come with each pump. The cheaper pump in general is more compact. You can see that the pump handle goes a lot higher for the expensive pump, which means it's naturally going to be able to pump out a lot more air. It also comes handy with an air pressure gauge. So overall, I would say if you want just a better pump, go with the expensive.
And expensive wins. Cheap versus expensive markers.
So first we're starting out with the cover test. This test is to see if the markers can fully cover this pen's ink. You can see that the ink is still very much visible. Now for the expensive marker. And we ended with the same results. Now let's see how well the tips of the markers can hold up when there's some more pressure being applied. Seems like the cheap held up pretty well. Now for the expensive. The tip of the expensive marker was definitely a little more flattened out. I also flipped the paper to see if the markers bled through, and they did. And finally, we tested how well they could write on cardboard. So overall, I would say that both markers work pretty equally, with the expensive just having slightly more vibrant colors.
And cheap wins.